Check, 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 check. Y'all ready for mic checks? Mic checks, mic checks. Danny, you got it? Mic check here.
Wherever you guys want to green hair, so you can also be seen. Whoever would want to go.
Can I just stick these right underneath that?
Yeah, of course.
No, that's you guys. It's not election year.
Well, it's, well,
There would be, you're right in the middle back there. Yeah, right. I saw you over here. Come on, Mark. Hey.
Lisa.
We need to class up these people. That's a class story.
Right in the middle.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing? I know. Good, good. Thank you. I know. She's just kind of just sit back. How are you?
I don't think the wind's gonna blow it or anything. It might run through a full stick of autism. Crises right now. It's crazy. Right out my phone. Well, I think I can handle it well. When's Matt retiring? Anytime. So waiting for you to, whatever's gonna happen.
Yeah, God's going to provide. We should all leave so that the new guy can come in and do his thing.
Is he being appointed? The new sheriff or maybe the election?
The election.
You did not say that you all don't know.
So
But you have to announce still, right?
they don't consider you officially until 2024. They did. They need the money. So it's become like
Hopefully it works out for all of you. That is serious.
you should do it.
I think you can hear it.
Be good.
I know most. You didn't do a lot of editing.
That's a problem if you don't stay
Great. Hello, good morning, everyone. It's great to be in Casa Grande today. We just wrapped up a very productive roundtable discussion with Representative Seaman, Sheriff Lamb, and local law enforcement police chiefs about the unique challenges Pinal County faces dealing with residual effects from the border. What we talked about reflects much of what I've heard around the state, that our rural communities are being strained and are frequently expected to perform tasks without being provided the necessary tools. As I've said from the start, I'm governor for all of Arizona, not just Maricopa County. And so it's a top priority of mine to ensure that every county is receiving proper resources that are tailored to their specific needs and that they're not getting caught in the crosshairs of politics. Continuing that promise, I am pleased to announce that using previously appropriated state dollars, my office will be awarding Pinal County law enforcement a total of $3.2 million for their efforts combating border-related crimes. This funding comes from the previously appropriated Border Security Fund and will be dispersed to the Casa Grande Police Department, Eloy Police Department, Queen Creek Police Department, Florence Police Department, and Coolidge Police Department. We know that problems at the border don't often stay at the border. Back in February, Sheriff Lamb testified that his office has seen human trafficking incidents increase 4 times over, and that seizures of fentanyl pills have grown by more than 600%. Later in April, we saw reports of a possible human trafficking event after Pinal County officers stopped 3 vehicles carrying dozens of people. These types of incidents have gone from rare to commonplace, but their resources have not matched this trend. That's why this funding is so important. This money will be used to combat human trafficking and for things like updating technology to strengthen capabilities, increasing personnel to expand capacity, and purchasing SUVs to facilitate easier on-the-ground travel. I want to be clear. This community has done the best job that you can with what you have been given, and something that I have come to learn that our rural communities are very good at. But we need to do better for you and for the entire state. Moving forward, we're going to continue prioritizing, identifying the specific needs of each area, and supporting the coordinated efforts between county law enforcement and federal agencies, which is critical for public safety across the state. I want to give my sincere thanks to the law enforcement leaders here with me today. Your dedication and hard work doesn't go unnoticed by me or your communities. Together, we will continue to work every single day to create a safe Arizona for everyone. Thank you, and with that, I will turn it over to Florence Chief Bruce Walls.
Good morning. I'm Chief of Police for the town of Florence, Bruce Walls. First, let me thank Governor Hobbs and her staff for having these critical conversations about crime coming from across the border and how it affects our communities. It is because of these conversations that Governor Hobbs and her team has awarded the town of Florence $1.2 million in grant funding to upgrade our dispatch consoles and mobile radios. It is crucial that our first responders can communicate effectively while fighting crime associated with our borders. Whether it's sex trafficking, illegal drugs that are killing our kids, or people entering our state without going through the proper channels. The town of Florence will now have the ability to address those concerns without the fear of losing communications with our home base. Governor Hobbs and staff, the town of Florence appreciates you listening, but more importantly, responding with resources that keep our first responders safe. On behalf of our mayor, vice mayor who's in attendance today, our council members, town manager, deputy town manager, as well as our community, in fact, all our communities. Thank you for keeping first responders at the forefront of your mind. This $1.2 million grant keeps our officers safe and will enable the town of Florence to remain one of the safest communities in the state of Arizona. Thank you. And then I'm going to turn it over to Chief from Queen Creek.
I appreciate the opportunity to represent the town of Queen Creek and to just provide a couple of comments. I too would like to thank the governor, policy advisor Kenesha Jackson, and Director Kovacs. We greatly appreciate the support and the funding provided to the town of Queen Creek, and specifically the Queen Creek Police Department. As a brand new police department, we've only been operating for about 18 months. We've been able to use these funds to directly combat human trafficking in the town of Queen Creek and the surrounding community. In addition to the training, enforcement, enhancements, and the funding will be used to purchase modern equipment, technology, and provide necessary resources to allow our officers to stay safe and keep updated with each other in the field. The town of Queen Creek is an extremely safe community with a very low crime rate. However, the community expects, and I think this is what we see across Pinal County, that we prepare proactively and respond to these issues. Again, we are so grateful to the coordination from the governor's office and the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs for making these funds available to us and working closely to ensure that they are used properly and effectively. We look forward to the continuing this close partnership and working with the governor's office, DEMA, and our regional enforcement, and appreciate so much you being here today to bring light to these issues and to see the support that's provided to our local agencies. Thank you.
I'll open it up for questions. We certainly have the ability to get to everyone if we can make that happen. If you have a specific question for a specific speaker, please say so at the beginning of your question. I'll start here with
Governor Hobbs.
Yes.
Is this funding a response to increased incidences of events, or is it increased numbers of illegal entries coming to Pinal County? What's the reasoning behind this announcement of funding today?
This is really just my administration following through on what I promised I would do and listening to our local communities, making sure that they had the resources that they needed from us, particularly in the absence of more federal support on border security. Yeah.
Mark.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Governor. At the beginning of the legislative session, one of the bickering points that you had to deal with the Republican side was your decision to change the way the border got funded from Governor Ducey, the border task force that he had. This is the third place that I can count here, Yavapai, Coconino, where you, or not Coconino, Cochise County, where you have gone and you have listened and responded with money. Your thoughts about what in some cases are largely conservative areas, thinking about your way of doing things versus the way your predecessor did.
Add Yuma County to that as well. So I think that I'll use the border, the container wall example as an example. That there was a focus on politicizing issues and using resources for political stunts that didn't do actually anything. That wall is gone now. We're sitting with 1,800 used shipping containers that we have to offload that cost taxpayers millions of dollars to install and then uninstall. And we want to make sure that we're using those resources effectively where they can be most helpful to our communities that are dealing with the brunt of the federal government's inaction on the border.
What has been the reaction? I know we're going to get it. It's great here probably in your presence, and maybe it is, but what has been the reaction in these communities after you've been there and you've given them money for specific needs that they have?
I mean, what I've seen is largely folks being really receptive to the ongoing dialogue, that we're willing to sit and listen and have these conversations and work in partnership on what is a shared issue.
Any other questions?
Governor Hobbs, as you know, more than 80,000 migrant children are missing. What is being done in Arizona to make sure this is not going to happen in the future, and what is being done to find the children?
I think that's largely a federal issue and not one that I have a response to today. Thanks.
Governor, I've got a question about the rental tax.
Oh, yeah.
Some councils have expressed concern about losing revenues.
Yeah.
How are you going to address that? Because, I've spoken to the mayor here, who's expressed concerns about losing 1.5 or a possible 1.5. What are you going to do to address those concerns?
Yeah, so this was part of a compromise piece of legislation that was critical to get done. And so, it wasn't perfect. And we were able to get a delayed implementation until January of 25. So it gives us time to figure out how we can hold cities harmless in terms of that lost revenue.
One or two questions if anyone has? No? All right. Well,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.